Oh, hello and welcome everybody who joined this Jumpstart session on analytics in the ABAP Cloud today. With me is Niloofar Flothkoetter from the product management team, and my name is Andreas Riehl. I'm a product owner in the ABAP platform. And together we will jumpstart you on how to build analytical applications with ABAP Cloud today. Okay, so first of all, what we have here is a jumpstart session. So what is a jumpstart session about? We won't do any coding in the jumpstart session. You will do that later on in the hands-on. Okay, so in the jumpstart session, we want to understand what the hands-on is about. We want to understand the developer flow. We have that developer flow in two flavors. The first is the one how you would build it at home with your own ABAP Cloud system. And the second one is the hands-on situation we have in the trial systems, because the hands-on will happen in a trial system, and the trial systems, they have different capabilities than the full ABAP Cloud systems. So we'll tell you both ways. Then we will today have a look at the GitHub repository. I'll give you a brief introduction to it. We look at the structure of the repository and, importantly, how to get support during the hands-on session. By the way, support, you can ask you can ask questions in the chat for the next half hour. Some of these questions we will also answer live, and we have our experts in the chat. That is Daniela Fendal, Fabian Fellhauer, and Stefan Unnebrink, all analytics experts, and they will filter the questions for us and answer most of the questions also in the live chat then. Okay, having said that, after I finished, I will hand over to Niloofar. Niloofar will give you an overview about the evolution of the Fiori integration. So that means she will tell you how the analytics Fiori development paradigm will evolve over the next releases. And she will introduce you to further learning opportunities and hands-on options that you have when you finished the hands-on session. Okay, so what is the hands-on session about? The hands-on session is an introduction to analytical data modeling in ABAP Cloud. And within that hands-on tutorial, you will build an analytical application. Of course, this application will be based, like always in SAP, or most of the time, on the flight demo model. And what you will do is you build an analytical application that analyzes the occupation rate of flights from different perspectives. Like I said, we won't do that now. You will do that at your own pace after this session. And this will be in a GitHub repository with step-by-step instructions. We'll have a look at them in a minute. And yeah. You also get support during that time in GitHub. I will also show that in a minute. When you do the hands-on tutorial, you will learn basic analytical ideas and terms like measures, dimensions, cubes, and queries. Don't worry if you don't know them yet. So you will really get introduced to them, to their meaning, and how to implement them step by step in the tutorial. Also, you will learn about the star schema, basic analytical modeling principles, and you will understand the meaning of multi-dimensional analytics. This is especially the case when we later on also have a preview of the application. This will really deepen the understanding of what multi-dimensional means. Okay, then let's have a look at the developer flow. So we will first have a look at the standard developer flow. So this is the flow that you would have if you have an ABAP Cloud system on your own. there's the mouse, so the flow is basically the same as you would build a transactional application. You build a domain-specific model first. The model looks a little bit different than the transactional model. You see it, it's kind of a star here. This is why it's called the star schema. We'll start building a cube. The cube is the heart of the analytical model, draws together all the information that you will present later on to the users. The dimensions give additional attributes around it. And the query is, so to say, the consumption view. So this is very close to the UI and will define what the end user sees when he starts the transactional application. Then you would build service definition, service binding, just like in the transactional world. The difference is that this time this is not OData, but the INA protocol, which is specific for analytical multidimensional data. Then you would, in the end, build a multidimensional UI or, for example, an SAC story. An SAC story could be built on the same service as the multidimensional UI. Good, but now we come to the flow that you will have in the trial system. So this is a little bit different, like I said before. So you could theoretically also have service definition and service binding there, but you don't have the option to build multidimensional analysis in the trial systems yet. And we don't have the option to connect like an SAC trial to our ABAP trial system. This is unfortunately not possible. Therefore, we will have a little bit of a different flow. We will concentrate, or you will concentrate then, on building the analytical data model, and then you will be able to do a developer preview on that, and this will, in the end, display the multidimensional analysis Fiori app that is very similar to the one that you would build on your own. So the preview, what we see here and what you have also in the trial systems, is then kind of a labs preview to what you will get in the next releases. Okay. Then let's have a look at the GitHub repository. Oh, sorry. Good. When you start the repository the first time, you will not see the structure here on the left side, so just click on the README and you will also see the structure. Just regarding the structure of the repository. So we will have 3 exercises and we have the prerequisites. When you start working on the prerequisites, you will get your trial account, you will get a user, set up a BTP ABAP environment if you haven't done so, and install the development tools. Maybe that you have that already if you worked in the transactional application building already. If not, you will have to set it up. Then we will start with the first exercise. The first exercise is partly reading and starts you with the hand-on. So the reading is then, again, the scope of the tutorial, a little bit in more detail than what I told you right now. And you will then learn about what embedded analytics really means. Then we will have a look at the flight data model and see what's in it for you to build an analytical application. So that really starts the hands-on. And then in exercise 2 and 3, you will really get started coding, build cube and dimensions, also build the query then, and finally you will preview the query and work with the multidimensional analysis. So there are also steps in here that show you how the UI will work in the end. Okay, this is the structure. Maybe just some more remarks. We have here on the left side also the sources. So when you follow the tutorial, and you're not sure, you can always look the final sources up here and can compare. You could theoretically also just copy paste the sources into your system, activate them, and then start the preview if you're more interested in how the end user UI will look like. Okay, the exercises itself are really step by step, and we always have hints in between that tell you what to do if you're not 100% sure. Okay, that's about it on the structure. What I would like to do now is that I show you just a brief glimpse of the UI. So when you start the UI the first time, this is how it will look like. So what you build with the data model is one-to-one what you see here. So that's the multidimensional analysis. And let's just take 1 or 2 minutes to work with it a little bit. So what we wanted to do is that we wanted to calculate the occupation rate. I will just show you how that looks like. So we will only have a look at the occupation rate. And now let's start working multidimensional. Let's take away some dimensions. And what I want to achieve is that I want to have an overview about the flight occupation rates over time. So therefore, I'm taking away airport, flight date, flight number, and the flight year. I take that into the columns. So you see this here is like working with a spreadsheet. And what you see now is that the view has changed. We are aggregating, and you can see really here nicely the occupation rate over the years for each airline. You can do a lot more with that UI, and you have really time to play with it when you work with a repository yourself. Try it out. You have filtering possibilities in the UI. You can change the behavior. You can change the way the numbers look like, and so on, formatting. Okay, that's about it from my side. Then I would hand over to Niloofar, and she will tell you the next steps.
Sure. So hello and welcome to our Jumpstart session today from my side as well. So I would like you to show you, I want to just show you what is coming up in our next releases. Here is the mouse.
Don't go to the upper right corner, and it will lock again.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. So we will have charts for the multidimensional analysis app. That means this application, what Andreas have shown right now, that was just a table. We will have some charts on that. And we will have the generation of multidimensional end user UIs will be automated. And the next thing will be that Fiori Element supports for analytical application development will be there. Like if you are in Visual Studio or something like that, you can just use floor plan or building blocks. And the next point is that we will have additional Fiori UIs and controls in next releases. And of course, the combination of transactional and analytical data in one UI. So next slide, please. What you can do next. Of course, you can use your trial project, your trial user to do all of this ticket hands-on session. And if you want, you can have a look on our recent DevToberfest blog post. In this blog post, we have several links to several different videos and blog posts in topic ABAP Cloud and, of course, Analytics. And if you want, you can just check out our other ticket hands-on session that is use ABAP Cloud for developer extensibilities. So the other stuff to going ahead with reading are 3 blog posts. These 3: Analytical Data Modeling with ABAP Cloud, or Developing for Analytics with the SAP BTP ABAP environment, and of course CDS Analytical Projection Views. So the thing is, if you use our ticket hands-on session GitHub repository, you just need a trial account, and you can go ahead with a trial account. But if you want to use SAC, that means if you have your data modeling and if you want to push it to the SAC and have like this a nice report, so-called story in the SAC, you need to have your own ABAP Cloud system, ABAP system, and of course, it's possible for on-premise systems from 2308.
Yes, 2023.
23, yes. And as I said, if you have your own ABAP system and a developer user, you can just build your data model and public this data model to your SAC system. The connection will be both ways between your ABAP system and your SAC system, and you can just read all of this data and use it to create such a nice story with different graphics, charts, and tables. So that is from my side as well. You can just ask your questions if you have any question. We will back to continue with Q&A.
Live Q&A.
Okay, so we have some questions here. Give me a second.
Is this presentation on the GitHub? Yes, our presentation is on the GitHub repository. You will get a link from our...
I can show it right now. So it's really in the beginning of the GitHub repository. When you start the README, you see here the slides of the Jumpstart sessions are linked directly. Okay. Then we have one more question. It has been noticed that the number of UI annotation control which can be used in CDS are limited. Do we have any plan to enhance this part? So UI annotations are especially in analytics. We have analytics-specific annotations, and these will influence the UI, the analytical UI, more. So there are only a few UI annotations that influence the analytical UI. So most of the UI annotations are really for the transactional UIs. But I think this will also grow over time. So hope this does answer the question. If not, then feel free to, by the way, did I show that, how to post questions in the GitHub repository? Or did I forget that?
Maybe you can just...
Okay. So if the question is not answered satisfyingly, or if you have later on questions, you can just open the GitHub repository, go to the Issues tab, and then raise a new issue here. We will answer those questions that come up via the issues, especially in the next couple of weeks, very soon. And I see we have one more question. What is the new one?
Is SAC connection to CDS view via the ABAP or NetWeaver stack, or is it through HANA? Actually, the connection is within a service, and you need, as I said, both-way connection between your ABAP system and your SAC system. And from ABAP system to SAC system, it's possible with a communication arrangement. And from SAC system to ABAP Cloud, ABAP system, you have just to do a simple connection with your ABAP system, and it will be done both way. And then you can just do your data transformation.
Maybe I can add a little bit to it. So the connection does not go directly to HANA. Maybe that was the question. But it really goes to the ABAP server. And then we have the analytical engine in between. And the engine then also can decide if some of the execution is pushed down to HANA or not. But we go through the ABAP server and the analytical engine on the ABAP server first. Okay. Okay, we don't have any additional questions. Last chance to raise a question. Otherwise,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching and have fun coding.